Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World of Warcraft. I was going to say the 5.3 PTR, but I'm not doing 5.3 PTR stuff anymore because I've done everything. So, welcome back to the live game. I'm going to bring you something that I think some people might find interesting. When 5.2 came out and they launched, obviously, the Isle of the Thunder King, they added in some more lore objects that you could click on for various achievements. And I realized, as I was doing a live stream earlier, where I was just questing, I came across one of them, and or not questing, doing dailies. I came across one of the items on the island, and I realized I hadn't completed the 3 new groups that they added, because they added in 3 groups of 4 items. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. They added in 3 groups, and I realized I didn't do them. And if I'm hoping that they're exactly the same as the other lore objects in Pandaria, where if you complete all of them, you come to Lorewalker Cho because he sends you something in the mail, and then you get to watch a little scene. I honestly, for the longest time, I forgot they even added these in 5.2, and I haven't seen these scenes before. I'm sure some other people have, but I haven't, so I figured if I'm going to watch them, I might as well record it and see if other people find it interesting too. So that's what we're doing. If you want to do this yourself, and even if you want to do the other ones on Pandaria for the Lorewalker mount, it's honestly so easy. You basically just have to Google a map of all the achievements, and you can complete the whole continent in probably like 20 minutes. And the Isle of Thunder, it takes a little bit longer because you can't fly, but it's still really fast. So let's get underway. I completed 3 a couple hours ago. One about the Zandalari, one about the Thunder King, and one about the Mogu. So I think I'm going to do the Zandalari one first. Turn up my volume a little bit just so I can hear it. I think I'm going to do the Zandalari one first because they basically started this whole thing with the Thunder King. So let's do them first.
Greetings.
The Zandalari Prophecy. No wonder the Zandalari have come. They are indeed in need of a new home, and I am sure their Mogu allies have promised much. We will add this knowledge to the collection. If wishing me to narrate this to you, simply point at the correct volume in your private collection.
Every good story needs a hero.
Story time. Yes. I love these.
It is said the god King Rastakhan, ruler of the Zandalari, lords over his mighty kingdom from a throne carved of solid gold. Years ago, as he sat upon this opulent seat of power, he was visited by the Dark Prophet, Zul.
Dark Prophet?
Zul warned King Rastakhan of a terrible cataclysm, for Zul had seen a vision of a great armored dragon clenching the world in his ferocious jaws. King Rastakhan did nothing. Months later, Zul returned, bearing more grim news from his visions. He saw a legion of serpents pouring forth from a gaping fissure that tore open the floor of the ocean. Still, King Rastakhan did nothing.
That's Vashir. The first one was
Finally,
Cataclysm.
Mere months before the cataclysm, Zul returned, tearing his clothes and throwing his staff to the ground. Zul spoke of earthquakes and tidal waves.
So the Shattering.
He described the golden capital of Zandalar, slowly sinking beneath the waves in the aftermath of the cataclysm. Its once great people drowning as their mighty work slipped forever beneath the sea. King Rastakhan tired of Zul and his troubling nightmares. To be rid of the prophet, he granted Zul the use of his largest ships, so that he and his followers could seek a new land if his visions came to pass. And his visions did come to pass.
Yeah,
When
they did.
Deathwing rose from the maelstrom, dark, angry waves crashed into the Zandalari capital. The spine of the land broke in two, and soon the city and all its riches began to slide into the hungry sea. The Zandalari people turned to their king for help, but there was only one Zandalari equipped to help them, the Prophet Zul. The Prophet and the mighty war fleet he had assembled while his king sat idle. You see, the true power of kings and emperors stems from the power to aid their people. The moment they fail, they cede their power to the one who can.
That's interesting. I'm glad they finally addressed Zool and Rastakhan and that dynamic, because for the longest time when we first heard about Prophet Zool, everybody thought that, you know, perhaps he overthrew King Rastakhan, or perhaps the king died and he became the leader, and Blizzard never really confirmed it, at least until very, very recently, because they finally answered it in the Q&A that was last week. And then obviously with this too, I hadn't seen it, so they answered it with this too. And it's interesting because, you know, they got a lot of questions, Blizzard did, about how, you know, is this the end of the Zandalari in 5.2? And I mean, I guess not, because Zandalar is sinking, but we don't know if it's completely sunk. The king and Zool, we don't know where they are. They supposedly have this war fleet. We don't know how much of that actually came to Pandaria. So there's still definitely a place for the Zandalari trolls in the future for Warcraft lore, even though we keep stomping them down every expansion, it seems. Blizzard did say that they're going to address the Zandalari a little bit in the Vol'jin book that's coming out, so that should be interesting. Okay, let's do the next one. I'm just going to do all three in one video because there's really no point in splitting it up. I think I'm going to do the Mogu one next and then the Thunder God one last. I think that order makes the most sense. Wait, which one is
Farewell.
the Mogu? I think it's this one. Okay, let's watch.
Tread lightly. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. As parents, we pass our legacy on to our children. What values do we choose to instill in our progeny? What will our children learn from our mistakes? What sort of world will we create and leave behind for our daughters and sons? Parents place their children on a path, but they do not always know where the road will take them. The Mogu were children as well, children of the Titans. They were once a legion of stone, heartless and obedient. By the Titans' command, they fought the terrible servants of the old gods.
The Mantis.
They shaped the mountains and carved the rivers of the land. And they created a magical cradle
That's
of
Raden.
life.
That's the
in a
Raden
hidden
model in the
valley
middle.
that we now call the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. But eventually, the Titans fell silent, and their creations were cursed with flesh. The Mogu grew restless. Many generations later, when the Thunder King united them, they seized upon their legacy. I truly believe now that the Mogu thought they were doing the work of the Titans. They fought against the Mantid and used the powers of the Veil to create new life. Oh, but such terrible works. Parents cannot always be assured of the legacy they will leave behind. How especially true this is when the parents are gods and their children monsters.
That's also very interesting. I'm going to do a little bit of commentary after each one if you haven't figured it out by now, just because some clarification things that I personally have realized while watching this. Something that I have a question about, though, is... So, we obviously knew before even watching this that the Mogu were stone and that they were cursed with the curse of flesh. Now, was Yogg-Saron's reach, because he's the one who's credited with the Curse of Flesh, was his reach that far that it went all the way to Pandaria even before the Sundering happened and split the continents up? Or is the Curse of Flesh not just from Yogg-Saron, or is it from all of the old gods? Because basically, exclusively, we've been told that the Mogu have fought only the servants of Y'Shaarj, which are the Mantid. They haven't. There's no lore stating that they fought, you know, the old Yogg-Saron and his faceless ones, or Cthulhu and the Silithid. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there's lore stating that the Mogu ever fought them. So that's just something curious that I was thinking of when they were talking about that. That's very interesting though when they bring up the fact about Wrathion and Deathwing, because I don't know, I'm getting increasingly convinced that Wrathion's being built up to be what Neltharion was supposed to be before the old god made him batshit crazy. I mean, a lot of stuff ties together with him when you think about if Blizzard's trying to make Wrathion the black dragon aspect, at least in spirit. Because, as some of the things I've even noted in my Wrathion video that you can watch, but just really quick, one, he's super powerful. Wrathion is immensely powerful despite being only 2 years old, and he is still a whelpling. I mean, you see him transform into a whelpling, or a whelp, or whatever it's called, whelpling. Two, he commands basically his own mini faction, the Black Talon Guard or Bodyguard. I forgot what they're actually called. Three, he's like super interested in Titan stuff, and the only group that's really as interested in Titan stuff as the Aspects would probably be the Explorers League, and not even to the same degree. I mean, Bronzebeard is probably the only one who's even close to the Aspects and their knowledge of the Titans. So that's interesting. That's very cool. I actually wasn't sure if that was about the Mogu at first, because they were talking about, you know, Anduin and Varian and Deathwing and Wrathion and Thrall and Agra and their baby, who's, I don't think it has a name yet. And then Arthas and Tyrannus. That was cool. That was a cool callback. This is awesome. Let's do the last one.
How does today find you?
The Thunder King, I believe. Let's watch.
Jade Serpent guide you. The Mogu tell a legend about Shen, the Thunder King. It is said that he tore out the very heart of the Mogu god. And from that hateful act, he gained power over wind and storm.
There's Raden.
His followers fell to their knees before him. We will call you the Lightning King, they said. But Shen did not agree. Lightning strikes in an instant and is over in a flash, he said. But thunder proclaims the coming of the storm. Thunder quakes the skies long before the lightning strikes, and thunder echoes in the hills long after lightning's power is spent. It is thunder that sends animals cowering and fills the hearts of peasants with dread. Let thunder be my herald, so that my power is felt throughout the land. I will be the Thunder King. Oh, my friend, that awful sound. For 100 generations, the crash of thunder filled the hearts of Pandaren with terror. It is said that after the revolution, the Red Crane of Hope placed the rainbow in the sky, so that Pandaren would know not to fear the storms any longer.
Oh, that's
cool. I
cool.
do not see any rainbows today.
Oh, God, Lorewalker Cho is so amazing. He is my second favorite character in this expansion. Mainly just because his voice actor is phenomenal. And he tells such awesome things, and he fills in all the holes, and oh, I love it.
Greetings. Eyes open.
You're awesome.
Always be learning.
Outstanding.
So that's it. That wasn't really any new information. They showed Raden again. For those who aren't as knowledgeable about the lore, Raden was a Titan Watcher, or is, he's not dead. But Raden is a Titan Watcher who was in the Mogu vaults at the engine of Nalaksha, I believe that's what it's called. That's where you fight the dragon, whose name I can't remember right now. I can actually find out in 2 seconds, though. Elegon. That's supposedly where Raden was, in the engine there. And Shen found him, captured him, tore out his heart. That gave him his powers over the lightning and thunder, like we just found out. And Raden is the secret last boss of 5.2. He's a heroic only boss. He basically works the same way that Algalon works, or Algalon, excuse me. You fight him and he's basically like, oh, the world's corrupted, yada yada yada, of course, because it is corrupted. And you fight him, and then after you finish the fight, he survives, and he basically says the land is still corrupted, but you as the mortals have earned the chance to defend it for yourself, instead of, because when you pull him or engage him in the fight, he basically says after he kills you, he's gonna go kill everybody else, because the land's so corrupted that he realizes there's no point in letting the world remain this way. So that's Raden. He's interesting. This whole experience has opened a lot of, or not opened, but closed a lot of plot holes for me. I am supremely confident now in saying that the Mogu were left here after the Titans killed Yasiraj. The Mogu were left here to guard his heart, which you then find in 5.3 in the Dark Heart of Pandaria scenario. The heart is taken to Orgrimmar and is under control of Garash's forces, and that is going to cause the manifestation of the Shah of Pride, which you find out is the last and 7th Shah in 5.3. And from the Q&A, we find out that Garash is not corrupted, he's just kind of an asshole, and that everything is a weapon to him, even the Shah. So, when the Shah of Pride manifests itself in 5.4 in the Siege of Orgrimmar, it's going to give Garash enough power to warrant him being the final boss. Because on his own, as just Garash Hellscream versus, like a raid, he's powerful, but I wouldn't say he's, final boss of an expansion power worthy. So he's probably just going to augment himself with power from the Shah, not even necessarily corrupting him, but just powering up his abilities. That's my prediction. I'm sticking to it until I'm proven wrong. If I am, I will come and make a video and be like, guys, I was totally wrong. Let me know your thoughts if you like stuff like this. I hope people do, because I really enjoyed it. As a lore fan, you get those moments where you get like a little chill up your spine because you're like, oh, this is awesome. This whole video, all 3 of those, I got that each time. So that's cool. Let me know if you like this and if you want to see other in-game lore stuff like this. If you do, let me know what you would like to see, and if I can bring that to you, I will. If you didn't and you want something else that you'd like me to bring you, let me know, because there's kind of a lull in content right now. My plan is to release 1 character video every week. First was Garash 2 weeks ago. A couple days ago was Rathion. I am leaning heavily towards doing Gelbin Mechatork, the High Tinker. That's the next one, because I did Horde, then I did Neutral, so I figure I'll do an Alliance character next, and Mechatork is awesome. And so I figure I'll be doing him next. So look for that coming up soon. Other than that, thanks guys. My name is Necroxis. I actually don't remember if I even introduced myself, so yeah. And I will see you guys next time for more Warcraft lore, because there's always more lore to explore. Farewell.